Hey, welcome back to Rust Order Garage and the $5,000 budget build 56 Chevy pickup. Now that we're done with that fiasco of trying to use a spool gun, which I will still get back to and search for more information, and I think there's something wrong with the machine, but I will try that again another time. But now that that is all squared away and done, before I can put antifreeze in this system, I need a heater. So I've got an idea to try something different. All right, so obviously it is now cold outside and I need a heater in this truck. Even more important than a heater is a defroster. I don't plan on driving this thing in the snow or anything like that, but there are still some days in September, October, where it gets sometimes cold in the morning and you need at least a defogger for the windshield. Even more important than a heater. And we've all seen the aftermarket underdash universal heaters are actually pretty damn expensive. I mean, the ones that supposedly work or look like they would work pretty good are a couple $100s. And they don't really have a defroster. They would need work to make something. And I've seen the eBay little guys with the 4 ports or 2 ports or whatever they come with, heaters, and I even bought one of those a few years back. Never did use it in anything because after I got it, I was like, it's kind of cheesy. But the biggest problem I read about on those eBay heaters is the fan. The fan's weak, doesn't put out enough heat, and also for some reason people make it sound like the actual heater core inside, the tubes are too big or something, and it just doesn't work like it should. And those things are now probably $50, $60. And I could make something like that work, but I just don't think it's good enough. So I'll do what I always do and default to what would the manufacturer do of the truck or any OEM car builder. When in doubt, default to the OEM. They spend the millions of dollars to design and engineer this stuff. And I don't think anybody in a modern vehicle complains that they don't get enough heat. Most heaters anymore will drive you right out of the thing if you leave it on high for too long. Of course, they're sealed up better than an older truck would be, but still, they work. So I figure rather than spend $200 on a heater or spend $60 to $70 on an eBay heater that isn't going to work, let's make our own custom heater, kind of a universal style that could be used in any hot rod, and put it in here. I don't see why it shouldn't work. We're going to try it. I've never done it. Let me show you the parts I bought. So here's what I got, and I'll explain what I bought and why I bought it as we go along. First thing, an OEM heater core. No doubt this thing is going to work. I put a heater core similar size for a Ford van in the 51 Hudson because I retrofitted that original heater to a newer style heater core because you just can't find the old ones, and it works fantastic. It puts out plenty of heat, and it's just in a little aluminum guy like this. And I bought this specifically for a reason. This is actually from I believe a Ford Ranger, and I'll put up pictures of everything. There's the stickers right on. There's a Spectra 94700, if you want to look at what that is. I specifically bought this heater core due to its size and these tubes. I wanted longer tubes to fit in what I'm going to make, and I will explain why. The next piece of the puzzle is this guy. Good size 12 volt electric fan. Much bigger than anything you're going to find on one of those eBay heaters, which look like they use almost like computer cooling fans. Nothing of this size. So this should move a whole lot more air. And the whole idea of this is to have this, say on this side of the heater core, this side toward the firewall, and then the longer tubes can still get through the firewall, and this can all fit up against the firewall, and these guys are long enough to get past the box and out into the engine compartment so you can connect the hoses. At least that's the idea. And notice the fan I bought is going to cover the heater core, no problem. That's going to, I hope, work. Next thing, oh, and I have some things here, and I will put up again a picture of the fan. I bought that on Amazon, bought this all on Amazon. The fan comes with some clamps and some hardware here. There's nothing really written on the box. And then for fan control, for the heater control, we've all seen these. If you've looked around, I bought one of these little speed guys. I actually bought 3 because I'm a hoarder and I can't just buy 1. And plus, you get them for a better deal when you buy 3. So, such a deal. So, I bought this guy, and this is going to turn on the fan and control the speed of the fan. So, we're going to make our own custom heater here out of these parts, which cost about, I think, maybe $75 for everything. It wasn't terrible, and I could have spent less, but the heater core would have been delayed in shipping, which wouldn't have been a problem because this ended up being, I'm doing this much later than I thought I'd be doing it. I planned on making this heater a couple weeks ago, so I could have got this even cheaper, but I bought one for a little more because it got here sooner, but you know, whatever, you get it. So, what are we going to do? Well, this is the plan. Build a box to hold this heater core, and then the fan will mount to it and put air across the heater core. Now, then, once we have the box built, make a removable plenum that will mount to the box and have ports for the defrosters and for the floor. And I'm hoping to make this in a way that I can copy it in the future, and just depending on what vehicle I put it in, you just make a different plenum. The box is very simple and can be made the same way every time, and just make a different plenum depending on what you need, although this should work in pickup trucks no problem. So let's see how this all works. First thing I do is make the box out of scrap metal, of course. First piece of scrap marked up. So I'm going to make a box 9.5 by 7 by 2.5 inches thick. Just drawing it out here. I'll cut it out. Pieces with the X are garbage, they get scrapped. So this is the back of the box. These are the sides that will fold up. And then the heater core can fit inside, and we'll make a cover to go over the top. I'm also going to mark this. A lot of this is going to get cut out to expose the heater core, but I don't want to do that until after I have the sides bent, just to keep it strong. First part of the box, I'll have to weld up the corners where it was folded up. That's that. Heater core fits in there just fine. Now I'm going to cut that center out of that so that the heater core will be exposed. And I think the way I'm going to do this, there's going to be a removable cover over this so that you can replace this if you have to. And I will put the removable cover toward the inside of the truck so that you can replace it. So this side is going to end up going toward the firewall, and that is going to be the side that the fan is going to mount to. All right, cut an opening, put the fan on with a few just shooter screws that I cut down short so they wouldn't stick inside too much. And then see which way this goes in, like that. And that will be the back side. And I'm not going to put any foam in there yet. I'll put foam insulation in there to keep everything tight and from getting hurt, but I got to still weld up these corners. I don't want to do anything until after the welding's done. So we'll keep moving. Well, change of plans. I can't win lately, let me tell you. So anyway, we're putting this together, and I just want to do a quick test on this fan. And it pulls air fantastic. However, it is listed as a puller / pusher, which means that you could either reverse polarity or sometimes you can take the fan actually off, turn it over, and make it change direction of air. Well, let's just say the pushing on this fan, the pushing of air, leaves a lot to be desired. It's weak. So the options here were I could put the heater core in here and put this inside the actual unit and have it pull air into the box and have it spray out, because reversing polarity doesn't do anything. I took the fan blades off, flipped them over, and reversed polarity, and then I could get it to push air, but it only pushes maybe a third of what it pulls. When it's a puller. And I went back on Amazon and looked at the reviews, and there's 500 something reviews, and I had to search on push, as in pushing air, and I found 2 people who said there's no way in the world this thing pushes air. It just doesn't work. Now it does, but like I said, it's weak. And the whole idea of building my own heater is that it fits and works, but it's got to push air. If I want a weak one, I could buy an eBay one. So if you're going to copy me, do not buy this fan, which is listed under a whole bunch of sellers. It's about $22 to $25. You get what you pay for in fans. I bought a Spal. Part number. Is there a part number? There's the part number for this. This is a 7-inch pusher. That's all it's made to do is push air. And I hooked it up to the battery. This pushes air big time. This will do it. And this is just the size that it will fit on my box here that I already made. So I don't have to go too crazy reinventing the wheel here. I can bolt it up and it should work as I originally intended this all to work. Much better. So that's how it's going to be. The fan's going to mount there as I intended, which will be against the firewall, and then the stubs will go through the firewall, and then heater core on this side, so it'll be replaceable from inside the cab. And I'm going to make standoffs on this with studs that are the right height to line up with my outlets here, so that this thing can just be like put up against the firewall. The studs will come through. You spin the nuts on the engine side, and that'll bolt this right to it. And then the next pieces will be the Plenum, which will bolt over this side from the inside of the truck. And I can have that curve over in this direction toward the driver's side. Or I can just have the bottom of this be the vent for the floor and have this come over a little bit and I'm going to have 2 outlets out the top for the defroster vents. So it's going to work. I promise. It's going to do something. It's cold. It has been some days since I've been out here because it's freaking freezing. Man, I need to move south or something. And my junk flannel, the zipper broke, so I have a bungee cord holding it closed so I don't freeze my nips off. But I got a little bit done on this, barely moving because of the cold. I found some scrap tubing and welded some stanchions on the back of the box, and these are Silverado bell housing bolts stuck in there and welded in. So for all those bell housing bolts you got laying around, here's a use for them. And design plans have changed a little bit. Initially I was just going to have the box and have the whole big cover bolt over, but I welded a plenum on the side, and the idea is, because of space, I don't have a whole lot of space under there, but this would be mounted under the firewall, on the firewall. It's cold. And the heater core is going to be in here, obviously. My fan. And the heater core is... the heater core is going to be in there. I have foam tape in there, so now it's a real tight fit. And the idea is for the fan to blow this way through here and the air to go across the heater core and into this plenum. I have some vents on the bottom for heat out the bottom, and on the top I'll weld a flat piece with some little stubs for the defroster tubes. And hopefully this works. Okay, next step. I'm sorry I'm not recording welding and cutting and grinding, but I'm frozen. It's too much work to get the camera set up because I'm freezing. Holy smokes. Anyway, I got a couple outlets on there. Yeah, the one is angled. That's for a reason. That's the only way it's gonna fit. And yeah, so it's too cold to paint out here, and I'm sick of painting everything black, but it's all I can do just to spray some black on it so it doesn't rust. I don't even know if it'll dry because it's so cold. I've been putting the paint can in the heater duct to try to warm it up. It's freezing in here. Yeah, I have a heater, but it isn't doing anything because it's just too much open space. I need to drop some plastic walls or something. But anyway, it's getting there. All that's left to do is make the cover, and then I can bolt this in and show you what it looks like. For now, I'm going to let it sit here and attempt to dry, and I have to get some stuff out of my truck and do some other things, and hopefully I can get back out here today. If not tomorrow, because I would like to get this finished. Finished would be a good thing to get something done. So, I'll see you later when I come back. Okay, it's later in the day, and I came back out, even though it's freezing. Made a cover. I'm not painting it, because it's too cold to paint, and it doesn't need to be painted. I had to paint the base, because it's going to get mounted, and once it's mounted, I can't paint it. But this is what the heater will look like under the dash. You'll just see this part. So this cover just held on with some 1/4-inch screws. That's the plan. Easy to get off. Easy to remove. And easy to access the heater core in case it has to be replaced. Hopefully not. And again, this is all made of scraps. These defroster hoses, I could not tell you what they came from. I bought a whole box of them at a swap meet. I don't know what they're from. They're actually smaller than what the truck uses, but they fit up, instead of fitting over the defroster mount, they go inside, so they will work. And of course I made little stubs that fit, so I think I can put this together, put it in the truck. All right, first thing, let's see if I can get the fan back on here. See which way we going. We want the power in this direction. I'm going to have to take this, change the end on that connector they gave me, because they don't give you the other end. I'm going to give you one end, which doesn't help a whole lot. All right, let's see. I cut down the screws to make them shorter. And I may have to redo them again because I cut them down and then they didn't want to go back in before. So let's see, that one's in. All right, things are working so far. This guy. Nice. Fourth one. I don't know if I can get it without an extension. I think we got it. All right, that's the first part. Fans on there. Next will be the heater core. Fit in here. It's going to be a pretty snug fit because I put insulation foam tape in here to hold things from moving around. And that worked out good. Move that down a little bit. Got little notches for it. So that'll be the firewall side. Truck side, inside, interior side. All right, I'm going to bolt this in. You will not be able to see me do that because I'll be in the way of the camera. But I am going to put a little bit of butyl tape. This is used for installing windshields in muscle cars and, you know, 50s, 60s stuff, GM stuff. And I'm going to put a little bit of that around each bolt to seal the firewall, and also I'm going to use it to seal around a little bit around the tubes where they go through the firewall, and if I need more I can put some from the engine side, but I'm just going to stick it on here now, install it, show you what it looks like. And there it is, all bolted up. So when, you know, when you're driving, it's just underneath like any other heater. It's going to work good. Hook up the fan here for a test. Oh yeah. I can feel the air blowing out that thing all the way out here, you know, 2 feet off of the heater core. Actually, you can feel it in the back of the cab. You can feel the air. Obviously, that's on high, but that is going to work just fine. Let me show you what it looks like from the engine side. So from the engine compartment, that's all you see. 4 bolts are there, and the stubs for the heater core, and that's it. And that Ranger heater core worked out great. I got plenty of stub coming out of the firewall, so that is going to work out just perfect. So worked out good, I think. Did I say it worked out good? I think it worked out good. There's a look at it with the cover just stuck on there. It's not even bolted on. So you can see it looks just like, you know, any other heater. And hook up, turn on a fan. And we got definite flow out the heater. That's working good. And definitely out the defrosters as well. Oh yeah. So that's great. That is freaking great. I don't have any way to show how much air is coming through there, but trust me, it's good. It's going to work just fine. All right, let's update the budget. Heater. I'm just going to call it $100. I don't know if it really cost me $100. I'd have to add up exactly. I mean, the fan is like $50. It didn't cost me $50 because I bought it on Amazon and I had some rewards points, and it was really only like $35, but I'll mark that as $50. The heater core was like $30 or $35, so that might get you to $85. And then these things are not expensive. I actually bought 3 of them because it's even cheaper. I don't think these were $15 a piece that I remember, but whatever. I'll just mark it 100. As far as the metal to build this box, that was scrap. In the end of this whole thing, I'm going to add just a blanket cost of just scrap metal. That stuff didn't cost me anything, actually, but if you don't have scrap places around where you can get that kind of stuff or stuff laying around, you might have to pay a few bucks for it. It's not a big deal. Same thing, the defroster hoses, I bought those at a swap meet. They might have cost me 10 bucks. I bought a whole box of a whole bunch of them. So I don't even think they cost me that. But I'll write defrost hose. You know, I'll call it 10 bucks cost and 10 bucks value, because they were just said swap meet stuff. I don't even know what that stuff would cost, and it wasn't even the right size for the truck. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else to add to the budget. So, and if there is, put it in the comments if I missed something, because I can't keep track of everything. But I am really trying. So, with the heater cost of 100, that brings the truck value to 6509. Out of pocket cost $3,099. No, yeah, $3,099. And 10 bucks for the hoses will get you to 6519 value and 3109 out of pocket. So just over the $3,000 mark. And if it wasn't for the fact that the battery is not hooked up because it's going somewhere else, this thing would be turnkey after the cooling system. So I think we're going to have to get into that battery soon. But there are other things. I am going to do the air conditioning. I picked up something cool. I will show you that when we get to it. All right, I guess that's it for this one. The custom heater looks like it's going to work. And the thing is, if the little plenum that I put on the side is not enough air coming out of the bottom, I can always put louvers on that cover and it'll just blow air straight into the cab, because that thing is really pushing air. It's working really well. And I can feel it up on the defrosters, and I think that's actually the most important part, is for the defrosters to work. So, man, that worked out great. So, copy me, do that. You know, I mean, that factory heater core, you know it's going to put out serious heat. The fan is a name brand, Spall, now that I bought a good one. So it should last and work just fine. Yeah, I mean, I think that's better than the Universal ones, because Universal I look at it as fits nothing. So anyway, it's cold. I'm going back in the house. When we come back, now that that's done, we'll put the heater hoses in. I'm going to put a shut-off valve on the heater lines to be able to shut off the heater core when you don't want it on in the summer. We'll pressure test again, make sure there's no leaks, put the coolant in, and check one more thing off the list, because I don't even know what's on the list. I get a look. Anyway, it's been a while. All right, well, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for following along. One step closer to getting this thing on the road. And I'm picking up a donor tomorrow for another project that was not on my poll list. So I don't know if I'm going to choose that or something off of the poll. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.